Okay, everybody, I have a little secret that I need to let you all in on. Now, you know that I am all about feeling good, staying energized, and keeping my mind sharp so I can go out there and live my own fearless life and create my life by design while being able to meet and serve others. So, I have found something that helps me to do that amongst the chaos of holding it all, right? If you're anything like me, you are in a transition period. Maybe you're moving from one career to another. Maybe you're building your own business. Maybe you have a family. Maybe you are juggling multiple hats all at the same time. And whilst we know that we have to support our mind, body, soul, our nervous system with the right habits, standards, routines, to help us feel our best, sometimes we just need something a little bit extra to help fill those gaps in the chaos of life, right? Well, I have found something that does all of that and more, and it's called Happy Juice by Amar, the mental wellness company. It is a total game changer. Now, I have to admit that when I first heard about Happy Juice, I was very skeptical and I really didn't think that it was going to live up to the hype that I had heard all about it. Now, I have to tell you that I am a changed woman. My mindset about this has been completely changed. I've been using Happy Juice now, drinking Happy Juice now for about 3 months, and honestly, the results speak for themselves. So what is it? Well, basically, Happy Juice is a delicious drink that is packed with science-backed nutrients that support your gut-brain connection. Because when your gut is happy, your mind follows. So what it does is it helps boost your mood, sharpen your mental clarity, and give you sustained energy without the jitters or crash of something like coffee. Plus, it also is going to help you manage your stress, improve your motivation, and support your overall mental well-being naturally. There are no synthetic ingredients inside this drink, which is something that is really important to me. I have personally been loving how much more focused, balanced, and energized I feel throughout the day, especially juggling a business, 2 kids, Evie starting school, juggling multiple rehearsals for my creative endeavors and pursuits that I'm in, as well as recording the podcast. So I have really, really loved how this drink, this really simple tool in my toolkit, has been helping me to fill the gaps and support me as I go out there and create this incredible dream life that I am chasing. So if you want to experience it for yourself, head over to the show notes. There is a link if you are overseas, say in the USA, and there is a link if you are here in Australia, New Zealand. Go and grab yourself some Happy Juice today. You will get $10 off using my link down in the show notes. So cheers to feeling amazing inside and out. Are you ready to find your voice, fulfill your purpose, build unstoppable confidence? And are you ready to learn how to trust, accept, and love yourself enough to do the work to create what you want in life? Oh, and do you want to learn how to do it without burning yourself out, sacrificing what matters most, or compromising on your values? Then you're in the right place. I'm your host, Crystal Stanton, a certified coach, human design enthusiast, entrepreneur, and podcast host on a mission to guide women into their true, authentic success, to help them recognize their power and to step out from the shadows and into the woman they were always meant to be. Around here, we don't do gray, unaligned versions of our life. We don't settle for what we should be happy with. Around here, we do big, bold, courageous, fulfilled, rich lives, and we do it in an aligned, nourished, and truly authentic way. If that sounds like the life you want, then stick around and make sure you subscribe to the channel so you never miss an episode. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to another episode of Fearless. And today, I'm going to say it again. I'm excited because I am going to talk about a topic that I really, really love. And this is in pure response to a training that I was asked to run with a group of women in business. So there's so many different ways I can go with this. And I have a few notes, but I love to talk about human design. So I have a defined throat. So really, I love to just come in and trust that my defined throat and the energy that is, being directed towards it is going to share what needs to be shared. But I am really keen on this episode, and I love this episode as an example of learning to follow your strategy and authority within human design, because I'm literally creating this episode in response to something that happened outside of myself. And as a manifesting generator, that is my strategy, is to respond to things, not to go out and initiate them and make them happen. It's to wait for external things in my reality to respond to and then go forward and inform from there. So I want to talk around a topic that I absolutely love, that I have been called on to share my knowledge and wisdom around a few times now, but specifically a couple of weeks ago I had a personal client of mine reach out and ask if I would run a training I had done previously within the Activated Woman Mastermind for her team within her business. And I tuned into my authority, and it was definitely a hell yes from my sacral, because it's a topic that I think is really important. And so I wanted to share it here on the podcast because some really, really deep, insightful work was done in just 2 sessions. And also, just an ambulance going past. Also, it's a topic that I think is really, really important, especially if you are someone, and if you're listening to this podcast, chances are you are this kind of person that really wants to be more, do more, and have more in this lifetime. You just have that knowing that there is something more for you, and you're on that transformational journey, that personal journey to find all of the ways to get there. So the topic that I'm going to talk about today is 100% one of the core foundational pillars you must understand and have clarity around if you want to create a bold, courageous, fulfilling life. So that topic is your values. Understanding your values, what they are, how they play out for you in day-to-day life, how you use them to make decisions. Like, just the fact of being aware of them is so, so vital if you are wanting to be more, do more, and have more in your life. Now, this was a group, I presented this to a group of women in business. So also, clarity on what your values are is vital to your business success, or whatever endeavor it is that you are building. If you're building a community, if you're building a movement, if you are building a business, online, offline, like, it doesn't matter what kind of business it is. Maybe you're a plumber, maybe you are a coach, maybe you are a network marketer, maybe you are a subcontractor. Like, it honestly doesn't matter. If you are building something of your own, you need to know what your values are. If you are feeling stuck in life, right? If you're saying to yourself, I know I'm stuck, but what the hell do I do about it? Values. Coming back to your values. And this isn't just like having some I kind of vaguely know what my values are. It's being very, very clear on what those values are. Because your values are your internal compass. They are your internal compass that helps you make decisions, that help you stop doubting yourself, that attract the right people, places, opportunities, environments into your field, into your reality. And they can also be part of the subconscious programming that is keeping you stuck as well, or is limiting you, or is blocking you from doing certain things in your life. Now, just like everything, you get to choose your values. Yes, a lot of our values are created when we're younger, through our experience, through our social conditioning, absolutely, all of those things. But we're also adults, and we do get to choose them. We do get to choose our values. So I wanted to share a little bit about the training that I ran and what happened in that training and some of the insights, because I feel like it could be very useful and valuable to all of you listening. Now, if you want to go deeper on values and why, and there is a previous episode I have done on that. It's episode 6, which is called Unlocking Your Purpose, Navigating Life with Your Internal Compass. So I'm not going to go too deep on, I guess, the mechanics or the foundations of values, because I do have a previous episode. So I'll put that in the show notes. So I really do encourage you to go and check that one out. That actually comes from a previous 12-week program that I ran called Activate 10X, and understanding our values was a core pillar of that program. And values is a core pillar of anything that I run, any program that I create, any work that I do one-on-one or in group, because it is just so important. Everything I do comes under sort of 3 main banners of So I just got interrupted by a knock at the door. So we're going to continue on. I think where we were was the 3 sort of core umbrellas or pillars or phases of the work that I do to help people be more, do more, have more, which is around aligning, empowering, and transforming. And so your values are a really key component of that alignment phase of creating the life that you truly deserve and desire. Knowing your values is so important because it does create that internal compass. And I go into that in deeper detail in that previous episode, so go and check that out. But I will share one of my favorite ways to talk about this is, comparing a GPS and a compass. Both of them give you direction. Both of them can take you to an end point, a destination, but there are some key differences between them. If you think about a GPS, you put in the destination and then you follow its directions without questioning, without checking in. And a lot of us, if you think about it, when we use a GPS, we kind of completely zone out and we just follow the directions. Think about how often you've been somewhere new and you've used a GPS and you've gotten where you needed to go, but you have no idea how you got there. And you couldn't really tell anybody else how you got there, right? The other thing that can happen with a GPS is you might put in an address, but maybe there's more than one James Street in the town that you're in, and you just pop in the first one and you blindly follow the directions because you're just seeing one step at a time and doing what you're told, and then you realize you're on the wrong side of town, right? So there are some things with GPS that is kind of how a lot of us live our life, where we're just going through the motions, following the steps and the directions that we're told, doing what we think we're supposed to do, and then we sort of wind up in a destination and we're like, how did I even get here and why am I here anyway? Whereas with a compass, it gives you a bearing. It gives you a direction to go in, but you still have to check in with it. You still have to take the direction, because it's not going to tell you that there's, a left turn up ahead. It's not going to tell you that there's a creek you're about to fall into. So you have to be navigating yourself. You have to be mindful. You have to be watching it. You have to be checking in to make sure you haven't gone off course. And that is really the difference between living life unconsciously and living a values-driven life. Your values really does give you that internal compass. Now, of course, I love human design, so I'm going to share that also human design is an incredible framework to help you align your life and make decisions, no more second guessing, doubting yourself, knowing who you are and why you're here. But for something right now that is very intrinsic to you, that you can discover and start using as your internal compass, values, 100% values. And I would always put values and human design together. So one of my favorite Bluey episodes is the episode where Jack's dad is on his way to pick Jack up from school and he's following his GPS and his battery dies. And he says, oh no, And he's got a kid in the back and like, oh, what's wrong? He said, oh, I don't know how to get to Jack's school, because he's only ever followed the GPS to get there. He hasn't really paid attention, and all of a sudden he's like, oh my God, I don't know how to get where I want to go. And I just think that is a perfect, is it a metaphor? Not really, but a perfect example of how so many of us end up stuck in life, or waking up one day being like, whoa, how the hell did I get here? Like, I don't even understand. Like, how did I create this life that I'm living? And why do I feel stuck? And why do I feel unfulfilled? And even though I have XYZ and I followed all the steps to success, I don't feel satisfied. I don't feel happy. It's because you stopped checking in with that internal compass, which is your values. So for more deep dive onto values, go and have a listen to episode 6. And then come back in. But what I wanted to share today was the process we went through in this training, not the full process, because that is now available inside the Fearless Collective. So if you do want to dive deeper into your values with a structured process to help you get clear on what your values are and how to start living by them and how to start using them within your endeavors, within your business, come and join the Fearless Collective. The link is in the show notes for that, because that's really where all of the training that I deliver ends up, inside the Fearless Collective. Every member of the Fearless Collective gets first dibs on any training that I run. They get discounts on training that I run if it's external to the Fearless Collective. So that's the place to be to get all of the in-depth training. So go and check that out if it feels like something you need, if you're looking for that community, a place where you can grow and learn and evolve in a safe, supportive environment. But in this training, we went through a structured process, a guided process to help us figure out what our 5 core values are. And then the participants went away for a week and they sort of sat with that. They finished the process off. They defined their values down, and then they came back for a coaching call, a group coaching call for an hour. And I really wanted to share the value that they received from that and some of the insights and conversations that we had that I don't think the participants were necessarily expecting or anticipating. They received something they didn't expect to receive within a training on value. So I really wanted to jump in here and share those. So, okay, beautiful soul, just interrupting for a minute to talk to you about something that I'm really, really excited to share with you all. Now, if you are listening to this podcast, you're potentially someone who is in a bit of a transition period in life. Maybe you have been in a career for a long time and you're looking to change career paths or to realign or get more clarity around your current career. Maybe you're building your own business and you're just feeling like you can't quite get the clarity you need to get the momentum happening. You're not quite sure what it is you're here to do or who it is you're here to serve. Maybe you're really struggling to figure out or revisit or redefine your identity, your life purpose, and your life direction. Now, I am really, really excited because I have created a very simple tool that is going to help you get the clarity that you are seeking. Transitions aren't just about, the next job or the next phase of our business. They're really about rediscovering who we are and realigning to who we are at our birth frequency. And that is where true authenticity comes from and true authentic success comes from. Now, what I have created for you is an incredibly simple tool that you can use to create clarity, alignment, success, progress. I am so excited to share this tool with you. And that tool is my aligned business roadmap. I am so excited by this tool and what I have been able to create, and I am absolutely so grateful and thankful for the incredible feedback that I have received about this tool. Now, what this tool does is it helps you create a growth plan that is aligned with your human design and your astrological frequency. So if you are wanting to build a thriving business that feels completely aligned with who you are, Or if you're already in a career and you're just looking to leverage your unique human design and astrological blueprint so that you can craft a strategy that is actually designed for you, and you want to do it all in less than 1 hour without needing any in-depth knowledge about astrology or human design, then the Aligned Business Roadmap is for you. What the Aligned Business Roadmap is an ultimate ChatGPT prompt, mega prompt, that you can plug in step by step that's going to combine your human design and astrological frequency into a tailored strategy for you. It's going to provide a detailed roadmap to help you create a business that is aligned with your energy and your goals, no matter what they are. It is super easy to follow, even if you are new to human design or astrology. This isn't just another template. This isn't just another list of things you need to check off and do. This is the foundation for you to start becoming the person that can show up and hold the business, the career of your dreams, and actually achieve the goals that you have. It's your foundation for a supremely aligned, powerful strategy that works for you. No more chasing what everybody else is telling you to do. No more feeling overwhelmed by the hundreds of things that are out there that are always being thrown in your face. This is tailored to exactly you and your specific energetic blueprint, your birth frequency. And that is where true authenticity and authentic success comes from. So what you get inside this really simple tool for $47 is a clear guided prompt to help ChatGPT create a personalized growth strategy for you in any area of your life. Instructions and insights for deeper understanding, or you can just use it as a simple start point if you are a beginner, right? To create some clarity on where do I want to go and what's the most aligned way for me to get there. Also, it has the flexibility to dive deeper on your own or work with me to put the plan into action. Remember, business is not a one size fits all, and that is where so many of us are getting ourselves stuck. We're tapping into cookie cutter strategies and there's no real authenticity, no real us, no real soul inside them. So by tapping into your human design and astrology, you'll be able to unlock clarity, alignment, and a path that feels natural, nurturing, and fulfilling. Okay, so I hope you're as excited as I am. Get ready to start transforming your business or your career. Say goodbye to all of the overwhelm and all of the generic strategies. Get ready to step into alignment with a strategy that truly resonates and watch your potential become a reality. If you are ready, head to the show notes. The link is in the show notes. $47. Go and grab your Aligned Business Roadmap today. Go and check out the testimonials from the other people who have already used this tool inside their business with incredible success. All right, big love. Enjoy the rest of the episode. First of all, the process that we did. Really simply, we got a whole list of values, and I provided that list, but you can also just go and Google values. We did our brain heart coherence meditation to make sure that we were making decisions from our body, from our heart, not our mind, our logical mind, because that always trumps us up. And I am going to share an insight of how that made a difference for one participant. So we did that to make sure that we were in brain heart coherence, to make sure that we were making decisions from our heart space, not from our ego or from our fear of judgment, right? And then we went through the list. And the process is pretty simple. It doesn't take very long, but you basically go through that list and you highlight, circle, underline any value that jumps out at you, that your body gives you a yes to. And then you go through a process to refine that list down into 3 to 5 core values. So that's pretty much the process. There's a little bit more to it than that, but like I said, if you want the full process, you can access that inside the Fearless Collective, or you can purchase it as a one-off training available to you that will get delivered to your email. So I'll put a link for that in the show notes as well. But once we had those values, we came back together and we had a coaching call together so that I could, answer any questions about the process, or I could assist with any, any queries or any conversation. Really, the focus for this group was, how do I use these values in my business? But interestingly enough, majority of the conversation was not focused on that at all. Majority of the conversation focused around, blocks and limiting beliefs around these values that we had. It was around, how words hold energy, and how we can use these values in the decision-making process, and how we can have competing values, creating an inner conflict, and how we have to be able to navigate when we have competing values, because sometimes our values are sort of jostling for prime position, right? And so part of the process is in understanding the order of our values as well, so that as situations, experiences, conversations come up and we notice that we're being activated by a situation or an event, we can sort of, instead of dropping straight into our emotions and letting our emotions drive the bus, because we don't have to do that, we're adults, like we don't have to let our emotions drive the bus. And understanding your values is a really good way to help you sort of pause that process and get back in control of the bus, so you can drive again, by understanding, oh, well, that's just my value of integrity being questioned, or that's just my value of justice or love, or whatever your values are. So we talked a lot about refining and redefining values. And for one participant in particular, this created some real resistance, because this participant had done this session before. So this was a past and current client who had done this session before. So I talked to her around, what had changed when she refined and redefined her values and went back through the process. And, how had her values evolved over time? How could she refine them for greater alignment? And to her surprise, her values had changed. And she made a comment that she had done the process previously without the brain-heart coherence meditation. So previously, when she had done the process, it had all been from her mind, her individual logical mind, her ego-based mind. When she did it this time, she did it from that heart center, from that body base. And she said, when she went back to the list, some of the words she'd highlighted, she was like, oh, I didn't even think I would highlight that. But she trusted her intuition when she originally highlighted them. So as she went through the process, she narrowed it down to 3 core values. And I asked her what they were, and she shared them. And there was one word in particular that she had this real resistance to. I could see it in her body language, in her facial expression, in her tone of voice, that she was just like, oh, this word, like, she didn't like it. She had this really strong resistance to one of her core values, really strong discomfort around a specific value that had come up for her. And that value was excellence. And this is where having, a coach or a guide, or someone who can go deeper with you, someone who can lovingly hold you accountable, who can point out blind spots, is really valuable, because she was prepared to just cross that one off and move on, because she felt uncomfortable around that word. And instead of, if she had been doing this process alone, instead of leaning into that resistance and that discomfort and going a bit deeper into why that feeling was there, she would have just crossed it off and moved on. But because she had me there to support her, we were able to go a bit deeper and uncover the deeper meaning behind that word and what was actually creating that discomfort. And what was really fantastic in that process, in that coaching process, was understanding what that word meant to her. Because all of her discomfort and resistance to that word was based on her definition of that word from external sources, based on her definition of that word, if someone was looking back at her, which made that word mean perfectionism, external validation, like what other people thought about her. And it was all about this fear of judgment. But when we actually looked at the group of values that sat underneath that core value, because we grouped the values together to define our 3 to 5 core values, she actually realized that all the words beneath that under the list were all around personal mastery, self-accountability, self-integrity. And as soon as she looked at the word through that lens, her whole body changed. It became light, it felt right, it felt expansive, and all of a sudden excellence had a completely different meaning for her. And it really helped her to just evaporate that fear of judgment. And it gave her such a great scope then of content that she could then share around that experience and what those individual words meant and what excellence really means to her. And if you are building your own endeavor, your own business, your own movement, like that's really valuable in how we can then use these values, these core values within our personal brand, right? And create a personal brand that truly is authentic and aligned to who you are at a soul level, instead of building it based off of, what everyone else tells us to do or what we think we have to do or our fear of other people judging us, so we build it in a particular way. It gives you a lot of power back. So I just loved that. That there was a lot of key insights shared. There was a lot of blocks and limiting beliefs worked through. There was a lot of different outcomes achieved, but that was my personal favorite moment of the 2-part series, because it was just such an incredible opportunity for this participant to completely reframe her thinking and shift her perspective. And that's one of the ways that we can overcome psychological avoidance. It's one of the ways that we can hold hands with our fear but still move forward. It's one of the ways we can build self-trust, which is where confidence comes from. It's one of the ways we can get out of our own way and keep moving forward and showing up. And it is, again, why I just love values so much and understanding what they are. So that was a really big one. Working through that fear of judgment and perfectionism and that resistance to the word excellence, and really understanding that was showing us an underlying fear of needing to meet external expectations, but what that word actually meant and what we reframed it as was personal excellence, which is completely rooted in accountability and self-mastery. So loved that. And I really wanted to share it because sometimes when we talk about values, we might be able to say what our values are, but we might not ever really go deeper than that. And we might have an understanding of what our conscious values are, but we may not have an understanding of the subconscious values that are running programs in the background. And this is why understanding what our values are really important, because your values help you make decisions. Your values can, trigger the way you respond to certain things. And if we don't have any idea what they are, they can really keep us stuck. They can be working against us in the background if we're not aware of them. Or we might be trying to create something, build something in our life in a way that is triggering our values constantly. And then we're creating this inner conflict within ourselves, but we don't even recognize it because we're not even aware of what our values are in the first place. So I think that's it. I think that's all I want to share today around values, around this training, and just how insightful it is, and how understanding your values can help you create more confidence, can help you with decision making, are going to give you a greater level of self-awareness and emotional regulation. They're going to give you incredible new perspectives on personal branding and business strategy. And your values is one of the ways that you can create a point of difference within your endeavor. And like I said at the beginning, it doesn't matter what you're building or what it is that you offer, your product, your service, like it doesn't matter, because there's going to be somebody else doing it. And so what we need to do is find, our point of difference, or find our authentic expression of that endeavor, that business that we're building, that movement that we're creating. And your values is one of the core ways that you do that, because your values change the way you show up, change the way you speak, change the way you call in clients, and yeah, so many things. So it's a really great, especially if you are in content creation as well, if part of your business is creating content, understanding your values gives you so much scope in what to talk about and what to share. So if you are someone who is, building your endeavor through social media, but you're constantly sitting at the computer, banging your head on the desk because you're like, I don't know what to share or talk about. I don't understand how to link my personal brand to my product, offer, service. Values. Get on it, because it's going to give you pillars, right? It's going to give you 3 to 5 core pillars that you can always come back to in the content you share, but it's also going to give you a wider scope of how to talk about those pillars. It's also going to give you key ways to link your brand to your product, service, offer, business, depending on what it is that you do. That's going to give you the point of difference within your market. So make sure, even if you don't do this process that I've used, there's lots of different ways to dive into your values. If you don't resonate with this, spend some time getting clear on your values, and not in just like a really generic, like, yeah, I know what my values are. Like, go into it, spend some time, contemplate on it, think about it, write them out, order them. What is your top value compared to the 5th value on the list, and why? And spend some time reflecting on it and reflecting on experiences as they come up. What value was at the forefront of that? What value, trumped one over the other if multiple values were involved? And then think about, how do I now use those values as my internal compass moving forward? What areas of my life or my business are not aligned to those values? Because that's where frustration, resentment, bitterness, anger, and feeling stuck, being stuck in a loop, not moving forward, having no momentum. It's going to come from whatever you're doing not being aligned to your values. If you're feeling stuck in life, okay, what conversations do you need to have? What relationships need to realign? Is your career in alignment with your values? That was a big one for me when I was teaching. It was never in the classroom teaching children that created the frustration or the friction for me. It was the system outside of that. And I constantly felt like my value of integrity was being activated or triggered on a daily basis. And so I had to make a decision to align my life back to my values. And at that time, with that value, teaching did not align. So it can mean you have to have some hard conversations. It's not a easy process to align to our values. It's simple. Figure out your values, live life according to those values. But if you have been living really unconsciously for a long time, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, I'm just following my values, you're going to find that there are people, environments, opportunities, career aspects of your life that aren't in alignment, that you will have to do the work to bring it back in. So again, it takes courage, right? It takes courage to take that step, but knowing that once you action those values, once you take them off the paper and you use them to live life by and build your business on, that everything will become easier. Things will flow to you. You'll become more magnetic. Things will be in alignment, so there will be less resistance moving forward. Alrighty, that is it for this episode. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time. Big love. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I really hope you received exactly what you needed from it. I absolutely loved sharing it with you. I'd also love to know what you thought. So please leave a comment or a review for me to respond to, or just come over and say hi on my socials. If you'd love to be a guest on the show, or maybe you have a question or a topic that you'd like me to talk about, then please send me a message. I absolutely love to connect. And really, this podcast is all about you. And your success. So tell me what you need to hear more of. If you really enjoyed this episode, please give it a like, or even better, send it to someone you know to spread the love. Let's get this authentic success movement happening. Okay, that's it from me. Big love. Now go out there and be amazing.